Okay, so ETL testing happens in the data warehouse, and the data warehouse is the place. So let me start off by explaining what a data warehouse is. So what happens actually is that, let us say you go to Walmart, and when you go to Walmart, you would go there and you would buy something, and the information that you bought something goes into their system, and once it goes into their system, what basically happens is that that information resides there for some amount of time, and after that it gets deleted. Okay, so
After that, what happens?
and after that what happens is that it gets deleted. We have somebody else.
Deleted. Okay.
uh, One second, Vicky. Did somebody join us?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
it's saying that the session has been recorded.
yeah, not, no, yeah, Vicky, just not to you, I'm speaking to the new person. uh,
Oh, okay, okay, sorry.
okay, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, just one second. I'm just chatting with this new person just to make sure that his audio is in place.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bhargav?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Bhargav, I can hear you. Okay, okay. Yeah, Bhargav. One second. Yeah, Bhargav. So, Bhargav, just can you just briefly tell me a little about yourself and then we'll get started?
Yeah, my name is Bhagirath Bhargav Reddy.
Okay.
Presently, I'm pursuing my master's in Illinois Institute of Technology.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to graduate in December.
Okay.
I'm looking for opportunities.
And you heard about this from Shravan?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So basically, I've just started, and what I was, we have one more person on the line, Vicky, and
Okay.
what I was just giving was the overview of the data warehouse. We have just started, and I will just
Okay.
walk through this, and we'll move forward. So, okay, so basically, we are talking about ETL testing, and
Okay.
what we are going to talk about. Vicky, you can hear me, right? Still?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, okay. So the way I want this session to be is that I want this session to be interactive, and I would encourage you to interrupt me as and when you need me to. Okay, both of you all. Okay, so
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah. So what I am trying to talk about, to begin with, is what ETL testing is and where it happens. So the slide that you see on your screen basically captures, the architecture of a data warehouse, and the data warehouse is where we do all our ETL testing. Okay,
Okay.
so I was giving right now an example about Walmart. So we go to Walmart very frequently. We go to Walmart, we would buy some things, and those things. What happens is that whenever we make a purchase, that information, that order, basically goes into what is known as a system, and that system, as you can see on your left side over here, is the source system. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about going to Walmart or going to Target, buying something, and when I buy something, that order is processed, I swipe my card, and that information goes into that system, and that system holds that information for a particular period of time. Okay, now these
Yeah.
systems,
Okay.
which, yeah, go ahead, you had a doubt?
Yeah. No, no, no.
Yeah. So these systems, where when we go to a store, these systems that process our transactions, they are called source systems. What are they called? They are called source systems.
Source
Source
systems.
system.
Systems. And why are they called source systems? Because when you went to Target, when you went to Walmart, and when you made that purchase, that is the place where that record got created. That is the source of the data, that, right? So they print you a bill and they say, okay, you bought all these things and this is what it cost you. that order got created in their system, and that is the first place where that actual what is known as it started, that record originated, and that is why it is called the source system. Now, what I explained to you is a particular type of source system. Now, if you go to Amazon and you make a purchase online, what you have done is that you have also created an order there. So for Amazon.com, its website, or the other words, the e-commerce site is their source system. So depending on which company you work for, which company you go to, okay, where you are doing this transaction, what is the source systems are going to be different. Okay, so what is a source system? In this slide, onto the extreme left, you see there are certain source systems listed. So what is a source system? The source system is the place where the data originates, okay, where the data record is first created, and that is the source system. Any questions at this point?
No.
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 Okay, excellent. So let's try and understand, what does source system have to do with data warehousing? So if you go to the third, so first we have source system, then we have an ETL layer, and then on the third side, what you're seeing is that there is a data and metadata repository layer. Okay, so what you see here on this third position, it says enterprise data warehouse, it says ODS, data marts, and so on and so forth. This is the area which primarily comprises of the data warehouse. Okay, now what is a data warehouse? Let us try and understand. So we just understood right now that the source system is a place where the record gets created, where data originates. Okay, so what is a data warehouse and why do we need a data warehouse? These are the two questions that we will try to answer. Now, typically Walmart or Target, they have a 90-day return period, right? So
Yeah.
I bought a,
Yeah.
let's say I bought a mouse, I bought a mouse, and I bought the mouse and I don't like it. And what I decide is that, after 89 days, I decide to return it. Okay. So I return it after 89 days, they accept it, it is good. Now, if I go at 95 days, they will not accept it. Why? Because number one, there is a policy, okay, which says that they cannot
Yeah.
accept it. And the number two reason why they cannot accept it is because after 90 days, what they do is that they delete data from the source system for that transaction.
Okay.
Okay, are you with me? What they do, they delete,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, they delete
The
data
data from.
for that transaction. Now the question is, why do they have to delete this transaction, right? The question is, why do they have to delete this transaction? The reason that the source system needs to delete, or in other words, purge this transaction after X amount of days, which in the case of Walmart and Target may be 90, and in the case of Amazon maybe like 250 or 10 years or whatever, is because the source system is not capable of keeping. So if I continue to keep data for a long amount of time in the source system with all these transactions happening, what is going to happen is that my source system is going to become increasingly slow. Okay, why? Because the
Okay.
data volume is increasing, so I cannot hold all transactions for infinite amount of time. Because as so a company like Walmart or Target, they do millions and millions of transactions every day. So if you think over 1 year, how many transactions would get created? It would be thousands and millions of transactions. So the source systems is not designed to keep data for extended periods of time. And what will happen is that after that 90-day period, Target or Walmart will delete that data, and that data will not be available in the source system anymore. Are you with
Mhm.
me so far?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So Vicky, are you with me?
Yes, yes, I am.
Yeah, yeah. So the question is that what's the big deal? Okay, the return period is over. I don't have the data. Now, if somebody wanted in Target or Walmart to know how much sale they made last year, will they be able to do it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last year, right?
yeah, last year. Let us say,
The
300.
sales will be different, right?
Pardon me?
The sales record should be different, right?
Yeah, the sales record. So I have a 90-day purge policy, right? I'm deleting my data after 90 days.
Okay.
So if I'm deleting
Yeah.
my data after 90 days, let us say somebody says suddenly, I want to know what the sale was 300 days before. Will that information be there
Mm-hmm.
in the source?
Mm,
Oh, it
no.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah, it will not be there. Why? Because you already purged the data. So I have lost information really about what my sale was 300 days before or 600 days before or 900 days before because I could not save that data in that source system because of, performance reason.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, so what companies do basically is that because they cannot store that information in the source system, and they want that information somewhere else, for their analysis. They want to know last year during Thanksgiving how many, cell phones sold. They want to know, during Christmas how many toys were sold. They need all that information. So since they cannot store it in the source system, what they will do is that they have to store it somewhere else, and that somewhere else is the enterprise data warehouse.
Okay.
Okay, so the whole reason why people do data warehouse is to save data that they cannot store in the source system. Are you
Okay.
getting the reason why we have data
Yeah.
warehouse? Right. So
Mm-hmm.
it is very similar, right? I have too much stuff in my house. So what will I
Mm-hmm.
do? I will store it. I will go to a place, some storage place, and I will try to keep all that stuff over there so that I can go
Mm-hmm.
there and get it whenever I need it. So enterprise data
Okay.
warehousing at a fundamental level, the goal is to actually store data that cannot be stored in the source system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to store data in the data warehouse. Excellent. So the question is that how does data flow from the source system to the data warehouse?
Is
Right?
using ETL layer. Yeah.
That is right. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about the ETL layer. So the ETL layer is the layer which actually does the job of pulling the data from the source system. Okay.
Okay.
It does the job of pulling the data from the source system and getting it into the warehouse.
Okay.
Okay. And that is what, ETL developers will do with tools like Informatica, data stage, and so on and so forth. Now, when they pull data from the source system to the data warehouse, what happens is that they do a lot of things, right? They do a lot of things, and some of which are listed here that, they will clean data. What do you mean by clean data? It is possible that, the data that is coming from the source system has some, bad data in it. It may have some, extra characters, it may have space, so on and so forth. So, that is the kind of data that, you don't want, that you want to clean up. So the next thing is filter
Mm-hmm.
records. So filter records means, so maybe some company has does a lot of charity. So, they may have orders in their source system which are related to charity based orders. So they may not want that information in their warehouse. So they may decide to filter some kind of data. So there are, various kinds of, rules that will be applied on the data as they are pulled from the source system and loaded into the warehouse. And that whole process is basically, the ETL process, which is the extract, transform, and load. Okay, so the major tools in the market for ETL are, Informatica Power Center, then there is Data Stage, Oracle Warehouse Builder. A lot of people use Oracle PL SQL and SQL to do, ETL. And so as part of our ETL testing course, what we will do is that, our focus will be on Informatica and how an ETL tester will use the Informatica Power Center tool, which is the most popular ETL tool. And we will see how, as a ETL tester, you will test, code and so on and so forth. Any questions at this
Mm,
point?
no.
Okay. So one second. So what we just saw is that we saw the enterprise data warehouse. And what we saw is that data basically from the source system has been pulled into the enterprise data warehouse. Okay, now what you can see here are certain things called data marts and ODS. And what I will try and do is that I will briefly try to explain what the data mart is and what is the ODS. So an enterprise, you see the word enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Yeah.
does enterprise mean? Enterprise means the entire organization. Okay, what does enterprise mean? Enterprise means
Entire
organization.
organization.
So when I spoke about Target and Walmart, I just spoke about their sales system, right? I just spoke about their sales
Yeah.
system and I spoke about source systems, data being transformed and being loaded into the warehouse. Now, a company like Walmart or Target, they have lot of source systems, right? So like how they have what I was talking about, point of sale system where you go and purchase. They also have what is known as purchase because they have to purchase stuff from their vendors, right? So they would have a purchase system, which is also a source system.
Okay.
Right. So similarly, they would have a logistics system because they have trucks that transport things from their warehouse to the store. So they would have a source system associated with logistics. So a large company
Mm-hmm.
like Target or Walmart, they would have more than a dozen source systems or so. Okay.
Okay.
So what is going to happen is that these source systems or the problem exists for every source system that at some particular point in time you cannot keep data in that. So you will have to purge it in the source system. So what they will do is that they will bring all that data from all those source systems into the enterprise data warehouse.
Okay.
Okay, so what do I essentially have? I have an enterprise data warehouse which basically contains data for all the source systems or all the source systems I want inside the data warehouse.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is essentially happened is that the source systems are separate. Yes or no? The logistics source system is
Yeah.
different from the sales source system. They are all in different
Yeah.
systems. But inside the data warehouse, everybody has come into one area, into the data warehouse.
Yeah.
So what I have done really is that multiple separate systems, I have brought it into one data warehouse. Now I have the ability to link data of one system to another if I need to.
Okay.
Okay, so let us say that I have purchase information on a product. Okay, from the purchase source system,
Mm-hmm.
I have sale information of the product from the sale system. Now, because I
Okay.
have purchase as well as sale information within the warehouse, maybe I could do a profitability analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why am I able to do this? Because data from multiple source systems are present inside the data warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have to remember is that apart from what is known as integrating data, okay, apart from integrating data, apart from historically storing data, an important role of the data warehouse is to do what is known as integration. That is integration between multiple sources, and that is achieved inside the enterprise data warehouse. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
what is data? What is data mart? So the thing about data mart is that since the enterprise data warehouse contains information from all these systems, right? They contain, like, there are 12 source systems. They are going to contain information about all these 12 source systems. What the data mart is that it is a more specific area for analysis. Okay, what it is,
Okay.
the more specific area for analysis.
Analysis.
Yeah. So what it would typically be is that I would have what is known as a profitability data mart. Okay.
Okay.
I will have a data mart called profitability data mart. And what that profitability
Mm-hmm.
data mart would be is that it is a specific area where I am going to just deal with profitability. So I'm going to
Okay.
read
Mm-hmm.
data from the enterprise data warehouse related to, sales and purchase.
Only from.
Okay. Do calculations and store it inside the data mart, and that data mart is basically a specific area where I'm only going to have profitability information.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that
Okay.
mean? It means that a data mart is a subset of the enterprise data warehouse, okay, where I am
Mm-hmm.
actually going to what is known as do specific calculations around some data. And why do I
Mm-hmm.
need this? I need this because I'm going to apply business rules to the data inside the enterprise data warehouse, okay? And I'm
Okay.
going to load it into the data mart so that I can do all those calculations that I need on the data in the enterprise data warehouse and load it into the data
Mm-hmm.
mart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So any questions at this point on what data mart is? Vicky, Bhargav,
No.
Vicky?
Well, what is the DTube records in ETL layer?
Yeah, so one of the problems, yeah, so that's a very good question. So on the ETL layer, what have deduping means removing duplicates.
Mm-hmm.
So many times what happens is that if there are problems in the source system, what will
Mm-hmm.
happen is that you may get the same record twice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what the ETL will do is that it will basically apply a distinct on the data in order to remove the
Mm-hmm.
duplicate because you don't want the same record to be loaded twice into the enterprise data
Mm-hmm.
warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So deduping is the what is known as is the industry lingo for removing duplicates. And
Mm-hmm.
householding. Let me explain what householding is. We are on this topic. So let us say I have an account. I have an account with let us say Allstate. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife also has an insurance policy with Allstate.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a different policy and my wife has a different policy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what householding does is that it basically captures information on what customers live in the same household.
Okay.
So what that basically does is that it helps improve targeting for offers because
Okay.
they're able to link that this one person and this one person live in the same house. So what they can do is that they can send out a consolidated email for both me and my wife.
Okay.
Something of that kind. So what householding basically does is that it gives them information on, what customers are living in the same household. Thereby, they don't have to send multiple letters and all those kind of things. And also, they can figure out how to better target what products to target. So during householding process, they find that there are children in the house, they may send you offers related with to children. Or if there are only no children in the house, householding will tell them that there are only adults, and they will try to target you with only adult products. That
Mm-hmm.
so householding basically gives the what is known as view to the company as to who is living in a given house. So that is very very useful for marketing, and we do householding inside the enterprise data warehouse. So there is a ETL process which basically does that. So that
Okay.
is what householding is. uh, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And any questions on the data mart, either of you?
Oh.
Okay, okay.
No.
So,
Yeah.
so the next thing I'm going to talk about very quickly is, the reporting. I'll not talk about the
Mm-hmm.
ODS now because it is not very relevant, but let me talk about the
Mm-hmm.
reporting. See, ultimately, any data that goes into the enterprise data warehouse or the data mart, somebody needs to see that data. So let us say that I have done profitability analysis and the data is in the data mart. How does an end user see that data? Any ideas?
Um, you mean to say from enterprise data warehouse, how does the end user is seeing the data, right?
Yeah, so from the enterprise data warehouse or from the data mart, let us assume that
Mm-hmm.
this data mart, I have done some profitability analysis.
Okay.
So whoever,
How?
if they want to know what the profitability for mouse sales are.
Mm.
So the data
Okay.
that is data mart. My question is that how will the end user, some business guy,
Yeah, yeah.
how will he
Okay.
how will he access data in the data mart?
I think there will be some middle, like a presentation layer, I believe. They will use those to like reporting tools or something. They use that and then they see that one, see
Right.
the real stuff.
That is right. That is exactly what it is. So this is the presentation layer, as you said. What they will do is that there will be reports. So there are reports like, business objects or, micro strategy that will basically go onto the data mart or the enterprise data warehouse. And, those reports will basically go to the end user. They will be able to see all the data they want in the data mart. And the other thing that will be done is that people will can directly go to the data mart. Okay, people can directly go to the data mart and they can what is known as do SQL queries. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
see the data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so though
Yeah.
only tech savvy end users can really write SQL, but for the other
Mm-hmm.
folks who don't have the ability, what they will do, they will
Mm-hmm.
actually what is known as rely on the reports. So generally in most companies what will
Mm-hmm.
happen is that the enterprise data warehouse will get loaded in the night, and basically in the morning in their email they will have these reports which they will
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
see. So typically let
Mm-hmm.
us say that there is a person who's responsible for sales for Target. What will happen is that then when he comes into office and he opens his email, he will see sales data that happened yesterday at the store. So he will
Okay.
just go to his email, he'll click that link, and that report will show up either in MicroStrategy or Business Objects or Cognos. He will see that report and he will know what is happening in the store. And if let us say the sales are very good, he may decide to increase the price of some things because he knows that he's getting good sales. If the sales is bad, he will decide to reduce the price of some things. So, those are the
Mhm.
decisions, that the business person will take, depending upon what is known as, uh, what is really happening over there. Any questions,
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
Bhargav?
No.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So basically what I'll be talking about now, so we basically spoke about data warehousing, and now what I'll be talking about is, what the ETL testing course contains and,
Mm-hmm.
everything around that. So this is the high level understanding data warehouse
Mm-hmm.
and SQL. When we start the course, I will explain data warehousing in more detail. There are things like facts, dimensions, type 1, type 2, that is something that we will understand, we will do under understanding data warehousing. And this I will do towards the end of the course, though it is listed on the top. And for ETL testing, the most important thing, which I would say is 80% of our course is basically SQL. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
basically, that is the first topic that we will learn. We will learn about databases, tables, select statements, inner queries, joins, aggregates, indexes, and all those things. This is like the meat of ETL testing course, because when you go as an ETL developer, as you will see, in this in this slide, this enterprise data warehouse, these data marts, these are all tables. Okay, and as an
Yeah.
ETL tester, for you to be able to for you to be able to what is known as for you to be able to what is known as use these things or to test these things, you need to be able to what is known as be able to what is known as know good SQL, because your SQL, you will apply this SQL to determine if the code is actually doing what it is supposed to do. So the meat of our course is basically SQL, and
Mhm.
after that, we will be dealing with all these things, which is the different type of ETL testing you will encounter. We will talk about this today in the after this, what unit testing is, what smoke testing is, what functional testing is, what integration testing is, what regression testing is, what BI testing is, Unix, defect management. Okay.
Mhm.
the ETL tool. You will learn how, as part of this course, how to use the ETL tool at a high level. You running the jobs, HP quality center, and eventually marketing and placement. Okay, so
Okay.
now over the next 15-20 minutes, I will just at a high level talk about what all these things are. When we do the course,
Mm-hmm.
we will be actually doing unit testing, and we will
Mm-hmm.
so what is unit testing? So any ideas, Vicky, Bhargav? What is unit testing?
Yeah, unit testing is a starting level of the testing. Like usually before the developer takes place, we only like a business analyst comes first, and the second will be the when they decide what are the stuff that you needed. So the unit testing, they will gather all the information and say what's going to happen the next stage.
Yeah, so that's almost correct. So basically, unit testing is developer testing. What is unit testing? It is
Developer.
The
developer
developers.
testing. So what do you mean by developer testing? So I am a developer, okay, and I create a piece of ETL code to read data from Walmart source system into the enterprise data warehouse. Okay, so what I did, I wrote code to read data
Code.
from Walmart source system to
Okay.
the enterprise data warehouse.
Okay.
Somebody gave me a requirement to do that. They told me copy this, and write it there. Okay.
Okay.
Now, before I hand over this work to somebody and tell them, you know what, boss, I'm done with this, I am required to test my code, okay, to ensure that it does what it is supposed to do,
Okay.
right? Which is read the data from the source and write it to the target, right?
Okay.
Let us say I hand over the code to the tester, and then the tester comes back and tells me, boss, this is not reading data, right? So then that's
Okay.
a problem. So as a developer, what the developer will do is that he will do unit testing, which means he will ensure that the code does what it claims it is supposed to do.
Still. Still.
Okay, so are you guys with me
Okay.
so far?
Mhm.
Vicky?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's read what is written. This is testing done by the ETL developer before they hand over the code to the ETL tester for
Understood.
validation.
Validation.
Okay, so ETL tester also can mean DW tester, which is the data warehouse tester or a QA tester. The ETL tester will take over at this point, and to begin testing, the ETL tester will need the following things from the developer. What he will need? The source to target mapping
Source
document.
code mapping document.
So can somebody tell me what the source to target mapping document is?
They will have like as you said, the source from target, whatever they're going to buy, to the end result,
Right, right.
how they are seeing it.
That's
Yeah.
right. So the source to target mapping document, also called as the specifications document, is the document which says what data from the source should be read
Already.
and loaded into the target.
Alright.
Okay, so what is the
Yeah.
source to target mapping document? The source to target mapping document is the document which specifies the rules.
Specifies what the data is.
Yes,
What data is.
yeah, what needs to be copied from the source to the target. Okay,
Target.
yeah, that is one deliverable that you have to give, that the developer will give the tester. Okay, what is the
Okay. Okay.
second thing he will give? He will give his unit test case document. So
Okay.
when the developer does the developing and he gives me the tester, he tells me, okay, boss, testing is done. He has to give me proof. Okay, he has to give me
Okay.
proof that he has done testing, right? So that proof
Okay.
that he's done testing is basically the unit test case document, which the developer will give me to prove that he has done all the testing, and it will contain all the test cases. We will see a couple of these. Okay. And the third
Okay.
thing that he will tell is that he will give me information on how I should execute the job. Right. So if there is a piece
Yeah.
of code that is reading data from the source to the target, you know, that the
Yeah.
developer has to tell me how to run this code so that I can run it. I don't know. I didn't make the code, right? So he has to tell me
Yes.
how I can run this code so that once the code is run, I can what is known as figure out whether the code is doing what it claims it is doing.
Okay.
Any questions on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vicky, you have a question?
No.
Okay.
No.
Bhargav?
No.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Smoke testing. So basically smoke testing is high level testing. Okay, so once the developer completes testing, okay, and he gives it to the me, who am I? I am the ETL tester. The first thing I will do is I will do smoke testing. Okay, so
Okay.
so what is smoke testing? It is a high level testing to determine if the functionality of the ETL code is working. Okay, so let us look at so what is a high level functionality when I read data from source to target? The first thing that should happen is that the ETL code should run without any failure. Yes or no?
Okay.
If a developer
Yes.
gives me a piece of code and when I start testing, that code should work without any failure. That is something that I as a ETL tester should expect, right?
Yes.
Right. So what I would do is that as part of smoke testing, what I would do is that once I learn from the developer how to execute the code, okay, what I would do is that I would execute the code and my expectation as part of smoke testing is that that code should execute without any failure. The second thing I would expect is that when rows are being read from the source to the target, rows are being inserted into the data warehouse and rows are not getting rejected. So let's try and understand what this rejection is. See, if I'm reading data from the source system, which is Walmart system, I'm writing into the data warehouse. Okay, the data warehouse will have certain fields in it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which will be mandatory fields.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is a mandatory field? A mandatory field is a field which should necessarily have information in it.
Okay.
Okay, so let us say that I have sales information inside the data warehouse and the sales price field is a must have field, which is a
Mm-hmm.
must have field. So
Must have.
yeah, it's a must have field. That means data has to be present in it. So when I read data from the source system and if I try to write into the target, okay, and let us say that the data coming for this column for this sales price is basically not there.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen is that as the data as the ETL code tries to write into the target table, the rows are going to bounce off from the table.
Okay.
Okay, so why is this bouncing off happening? Because there is a rule on the table which says that I am not going to allow blank sales price to enter this table,
Okay.
and I am actually reading blank data from the source and trying to write it to the target. So what is going to happen is that the table is going to bounce off any rows that
Where?
have blank sales price.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the case where there is reject rows. Basically, the rows are being rejected. So one of the things that ETL developers have to do when they give code to me, the ETL tester, is that they have to ensure that there are no reject rows.
Okay.
Okay, so this is part of smoke testing. Okay, this is a high level. And the third thing is that the ETL code, there should be no errors in the error logs. So when ETL code is run, there will be error logs and there should be basically no what is known as there should be no error in the log files. Okay, so all ETL code they will automatically generate log files. What I will do and you will do as an ETL tester is that you will open that log file, you will scan through it to look for errors. If you see errors, you will automatically fail the code. Why? Because you're seeing error in the log files, which means there's something essentially wrong with the process. So a common errors that I see are, truncation of data and all that, which are basically, we check as part of smoke testing. Any questions at this point,
No.
Bhargav?
Why this has been considered as a, I mean, the final testing, the smoke testing. So we have a lot of testing in the middle.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
this is the first testing.
Oh, this is the first testing. Okay, okay.
This is the smoke testing is
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Okay.
yeah.
The first testing, right? Okay.
Yeah, we are going sequentially. This is the first testing that I will do as a tester.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking because you're saying it's the high level testing, so maybe I thought it's the
Yeah,
last one. Okay,
yes,
got it.
yeah. Smoke testing
Mm,
is the first testing I would do. I would make sure that the ETL code executes without failure. I will check if there are any
yeah,
reject rows. I will check if there are any errors
that's
in
true.
the log file. If this
Okay, got it.
yeah, if it fails at this point, I'm going to fail the test and
Yeah,
return it back to the developer.
true. Yeah,
If this clears,
makes sense.
yeah, if this clears, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the next testing, which is the functional testing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's try and understand what functional testing is. So, any guesses? What is functional testing?
About
Yeah, it's
function.
full of how whether the function's working or not, what the developer has done. I mean, if they're saying like you have to, I mean, as per the example, if you see if it's more than £100, then $100, then it should not. This will go to this person. If it's less, then this is a failure or something like that. So we are gonna test that. That developer will do it. So we will just test whether this action is happening or not.
Right. Yeah, Bhargav, what do you think?
Since what the developer has written, it's working perfectly or not according to
Right.
the requirements.
That's right. So both of y'all are right. What the functional testing does is that it ensures that whatever functionality, okay, whatever rules the developer has tested, whether that rule is being met or not. That is what functional testing is doing. So let us say if my source
Mm-hmm.
to map target mapping document says profit equal to income minus expense minus overhead, okay, which in this case will be 200 minus 150 minus 20, okay, what is the profit? It is 30.
Yeah.
So when data is loaded into the data warehouse, I have to make sure that the data is loaded as 30 and not 40 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
So what is functional testing? Functional testing is the testing where we will look at the source to target mapping document, okay, and the source to target mapping document will have a rule which says that this is how I will calculate profit, and the
Mm-hmm.
ETL code should calculate profit in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it's a bug. I raise a bug, send it back to the tester. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
this is functional testing. So this testing will be 80% of your testing effort, right? This
Yeah.
you will basically write all your SQL. You will write your joins. You will do your group bys. You will spend 80% of your time inside this functional testing. As part of our course, I will
Mm-hmm.
show you a source to target mapping document, and we will see how what is known as we can what is known as use the source to target mapping document to come up with our functional test cases. As a tester, you may be asked to walk through your test cases. Okay, so if I am a tester, once I create my test cases, there will be a functional test case review where you'll sit in a room, they will have the specification document, and then you will be asked to talk through your test cases and you will have to explain all of them. Okay, and once you explain all of them, your SQL queries and all that, you can what is known as do your testing and then say, oh, these are the issues and this thing and all that. Okay, so any
Okay.
any questions on functional testing?
No.
No.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is the integration testing. Okay, so any ideas on integration?
So we are combining the smoke testing as well as the functional testing.
No, no, yeah, in see, smoke testing is like sanity checking.
It's just a step. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
Mm.
so smoke testing is just a sanity checking to make sure at a high level, whether he's not, whether at least it's like a car. When you try to buy a car, the first
Yeah, yeah,
check is whether it
yeah.
starts or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is what smoke testing is. It's just checking whether,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's true. So integration testing is testing of functional. I mean, we are integrating the functional with the other testing stuff.
No, not really. So what happens basically is that when you do functional testing, so Bhargav, you have
Mm-hmm.
any views on this? What intake?
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay. So So let us say that I'm reading data from Walmart system to the warehouse. Okay. Now what is going to happen is that I'm not going to have just one piece of ETL code to read data from the Walmart system to the warehouse, right? I'm going to have lot of pieces of code. Yes or no? So I will have ETL code 1, I'll have ETL code 2, I'll have ETL code 3. In most companies, there will be over 1,000 pieces of code, that are reading and writing data. Okay. So now let us say, so in a typical example, let us say I'm reading data from Walmart and I'm writing it into a table. And then what the second ETL code will do is that it has to read data from the table that the first ETL code loaded, okay, and then write somewhere else.
Okay.
So therefore, between the ETL code 1 and ETL code 2, there is an intermediate process, that ETL code 2 is dependent on. So ETL code 1 has to write to the right table for ETL code 2 to be able to read it.
Okay.
Now, if by mistake ETL code 1 wrote to some other table that ETL 2 code is not looking at to read data, what would happen is that ETL code 2 will not function properly.
Okay.
And so basically the communication between ETL code 1 and 2 is wrong.
Okay.
Because the common place where they had to come in order to what is known as fetch the data is not right. So basically what would happen is that in integration testing, what I'm doing is that I'm basically running all the ETL code together to make sure that the interaction between this ETL code is happening appropriately. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
So what am I trying to do in integration testing? I'm trying to ensure that the communication between the various pieces of ETL code is happening correctly. Okay.
Okay.
So what I have listed here is, an example very similar to what I just told you. So let us say ETL code is supposed to send a file to location C flat file location.
Okay.
Okay. And ETL code B is supposed to read it from there.
Okay.
However, ETL code is trying to read the file from D flat file location instead of C flat file location. So what will this happen? This will lead to failure of ETL code B as it was not able to find a file.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here is that I'm running ETL code A and then I'm running ETL code B. So I'm trying to make sure that these two codes are integrated with each other. Okay. So this is actually an example of integration testing. And what I will, as an ETL developer, I will do integration testing once all functional testing for all the code is done.
Okay.
Okay, are we clear with this?
Yes.
So integration testing is a much smaller component of what is known as is a much smaller component of what is known as the overall testing. It generally happens when we go into the upper environment, the QA environment, where we will use job scheduler like Tivoli to what is known as like Tivoli to run the jobs. So we will see example of that.
What's a Tivoli?
Yeah, Tivoli is a job scheduler. It's an IBM scheduler. Bhargav, any questions?
No.
Okay. So let's talk. So any questions on integration testing?
No.
Okay. So let's talk about regression testing. Okay. So this is actually a very interesting kind of testing. So basically what happens is that, one of the things what happens is that let us say that there is a piece of ETL code and now it is decided that new functionality has to be created.
Okay.
Okay, so in ETL code A, what is happening is that a new column has a new attribute has been added which says sales tax is equal to sales underscore price into 0.06. Okay,
Okay.
so I have got requirement to change ETL code A, and what I'm doing is that I'm writing this logic.
Okay.
Now what happened is that as I was making this change, okay, I accidentally changed the logic for profit,
Okay.
right? I accidentally, instead of having income minus expense minus overhead, I accidentally changed it to income minus expense plus overhead unknowingly.
Okay.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I give this ETL code A to the what is known as if I give this ETL code A, if this ETL code A, the developer gives the tester, what is going to
Okay.
happen is that he is going to actually check sales tax logic,
Yeah.
but he is not really on the hook to do profit recal testing because he finished profit testing earlier.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what regression testing is to ensure that the developer has not accidentally introduced new bugs into the code.
Okay.
Okay, so what that basically means is that the tester will go back and he will re-execute all the old test cases he had to ensure that new bugs have not been introduced. Okay,
Introduced.
so this is regression testing, ensuring that old
Mm-hmm.
functionality has not been tampered with. Yeah, Vicky, you had a
Mm-hmm.
question?
No.
Bhargav?
No.
So then, this is called BI or report testing. This is actually very similar to functional testing. In fact, it is just a different name given to the functional testing. But the difference of this
Mm-hmm.
is that this testing is happening inside business objects or MicroStrategy or such kind of code and not what is known as inside the data warehouse. Okay, so what happens inside
Okay.
business objects is that you can actually create SQL queries and your logic will be actually inside these SQL queries. And as a report, as a BI or report testing, you're essentially doing functional testing, but it is actually being done on the report, the business objects
Mm.
report instead of inside the enterprise data warehouse or data mart. Okay, so a typical example is there may be logic total sales greater than 20,000, then bonus equal to 500. So if this is the specification, this logic will be there inside your report. You will just ensure that all these specifications are achieved. So BI or report testing is nothing else but functional testing.
Okay.
Any questions?
So this
Yeah.
happens inside the objects. I mean, it's not. I mean, in the sense, it's happening inside the software. Is that what you're saying, right?
So right. So basically, what happens is that business objects is a reporting tool. And
Mm-hmm.
because it's a reporting tool, inside that reporting tool, there will be SQL queries or
Mm-hmm.
there will be what is known as logic. There will be logic to what is known as to calculate stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
So basically, instead of the logic being inside the ETL code, okay, which we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about all this time, we are saying that this logic will be inside the reporting code.
Okay.
So essentially it is code. The testing process will be exactly similar, but the place where it is different. So,
Okay.
so in the earlier slide that you saw, you saw, let me just go back. You saw this ETL layer, all your logic was in this ETL layer, but in your report testing, your logic is in this presentation layer.
Okay.
So the process is exactly the same, but instead of being inside the ETL layer, it is inside the presentation layer. So
Okay.
the process will be exactly the same.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then
Okay.
the other thing that we will do as part of our course is that we will learn basic Unix command. You will
Okay.
the ETL testers need this as part of their what is known as their need to look at files and all that. So this is something that we will cover. Um,
Okay.
the other thing that we will cover is at a high level how to do testing with Informatica Power Center. I will so
Mm-hmm.
basically let me show you this. So this can you see my screen? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
this tool is Informatica Power Center, and what we will do inside this tool is that we will see how to what is known as do a couple of things like running the workflow, running the job, running the mapping, and how to understand mappings at the basic level, whatever ETL tester will need in order to be able to do his job. Okay, so
Okay.
as an
Okay.
ETL tester, we all have to run the Informatica Power Center job. I was telling you earlier that the ETL developer will actually build code inside this, and he will tell us how to run the jobs, and we will
Okay.
actually run the jobs inside this by what is known as we will actually run the jobs inside this in order to
Okay.
test all that functionality. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions on this, Vicky, Bhargav?
No.
So is it a manual testing or is it automated testing?
It is
The
manual.
ETL one.
All
The
ETL testing is
it's a
manual.
man.
Yeah. So you will.
Okay.
So what
Mm-hmm.
you will do typically is that you will go inside this tool, and what you will do is
Mm-hmm.
that I can actually show you this.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually go here and the ETL tester. What they will do is that they will actually so basically. Yeah, basically there will be a workflow here. This is what is known as a workflow. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that the ETL developer will create. Okay.
Okay.
What
Mm-hmm.
this will basically
Mm-hmm.
do is that it will actually read the data from one place to another. In this case, let us assume that it is copying data from the Walmart source system to the data warehouse. So
Okay.
your job
Mm-hmm.
basically would be to go here, start the workflow. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
once this workflow runs, what you will do is that you will start off by doing smoke testing. Okay, so see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing here is that I'm doing smoke testing. I am going to ensure that okay, I want to make sure that this job succeeded. I
Okay.
want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that no rows were rejected, and then I will open
Mm-hmm.
this log file and I will try to go through this to see if there are any errors.
Okay.
So when I did this, what I did is that I completed smoke testing. Now, the
Okay.
next step, what I
Mm-hmm.
will do, functional testing. So I will open the specification document, and then what I will do is that I will look at data that was loaded. See, here it loaded data into copy locations. So let me show you that. So you see there is data loaded here. So
Okay.
what
Mm-hmm.
I will do is that I will look here, I will look, at the rules, and I will see, whether the data loaded inside this copy location meets the rules. And if it doesn't, then I will
Okay.
raise a defect.
Okay.
Bhargav, any questions?
No.
Okay. So this is how, we can use the what is known as this is how we can use the ETL tool, which I will explain in more detail, as we do the course. Then
Okay.
the other thing that we will do is that we will learn, about HP Quality Center. This is something that we will need to do in order to be able to raise defects and
Okay.
assign it to the developers. So once you detect a defect, we don't normally do this verbal discussion. We will actually create a defect in HP Quality Center or Jira or some tool. So we will learn how to use HP Quality Center as part of our course. And
Okay.
so basically once we do this, our course will be complete. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, what we can do is that, we can start, training and marketing. And
Okay.
the plan is basically to end the training by end of December. Job marketing starts early Jan, and the target is to complete placement by end of Jan. So,
Okay.
so yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions from your side? So I'll start the batch I'm starting the batch from Tuesday at 7:30.
Okay.
7:30 Central Time, which is 8:30 Eastern, and
Okay.
we basically initially it will be for 1 hour, and
Okay.
Okay.
after that we will move to little more. And as I was
Okay.
Our goal is to, finish by end of December so that we can start job marketing and, placement can be done by end of Jan.
Okay.
Any other questions if you have, I'm available to take them.
So will you be working in any real-time examples, or
Yes.
how does that work?
Yeah. So what will
Okay.
happen is that once we do, so the way it works is that we will do SQL and we will do all
Mm-hmm.
assignments associated with that. And
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
once we finish all the assignments associated with that, what we will do is that we will have a mock project. And as
Okay.
part
Mm-hmm.
of that mock project, what we will do, first we will do some functional testings, not as part of the project, but as individual standalones. I will give you
Okay.
a table, I will explain how the functional testing is being done and all those kind of things. Integration testing, it will be very difficult to show because we don't have a environment for integration testing, but that is a very
Okay.
small piece, so that will not be a problem. When it comes to integration testing, I will give you on-job support and we can take care of that problem. But
Okay.
we'll do
Mm-hmm.
a mock project where what we will try and
Mm-hmm.
do is that we will try and go through a life cycle of a testing process so that when you go
Okay.
there and try to work, you can succeed.
Okay.
Okay. And my second question will be like, is it gonna be from Tuesday? I mean, you said the coming Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So Tuesday, I mean, for you it's 7 o'clock, and for me it's 8, right? I mean,
No,
the Central Time and the Eastern Time.
so actually the thing is that I have a batch going on right now from 6:30 to 7:30 Central Time.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
once that batch ends at 7:30, then I will start at 7
Okay.
with this new batch for ETL
Yeah.
and go till 8:30. So my 7:30 is your
Okay.
8:30.
That's right. Okay. Now my point is it gonna be every day, or from
Yes,
Tuesday, or how does it work?
yes, it is going to be every day. It is going to be Monday to
Yeah.
Friday, and
Yeah. That's what I want to know. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is actually going to be from Monday to Friday, and maybe even on Saturday. If you want, we can skip
Okay.
Friday and make it Saturday. That's also okay with me. But once my first batch ends, I will increase the time.
Mm-hmm.
So initially I
Okay.
always start slow so that people can get caught up. But
Okay.
what is important, I reiterate this several times. What is important is that you have to have the ability to invest, 6 to 8 hours of your day to, make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the key here because, of all the students that I have taught and I have trained, what I have seen is that only
Mm-hmm.
people who invest a lot of time and effort
Mm-hmm.
into making this happen, really succeed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Bhargav, what does your
Okay.
schedule look like? You have exams and assignments and all that, right?
But this month I'm gonna feel little bit free.
Okay, this month you're
That's right.
going to be a little bit free. And what's your
Yeah.
strategy? When does your course really end? You're on CPT or OPT?
No, no, I'm not on this anything. I'm gonna start my OPT on January 25th.
Okay, January 25th. Okay, so if
Yeah.
you are able to find a position by end of Jan, it'll be good for you, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. And I heard, so I was actually talking to some of my other students and they told me that the 29-month rule is gone away now
Oh, means
for the OPT, like it's no more 29 months.
I think they're gonna extend it to the 3 years from means 17 to 24 months.
17 to 24 months. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you don't have any problem relocating to any other US city, right?
No, no, no.
Okay, okay. Okay, so okay, I get it. So these are my contact
Okay.
details. Okay.
Okay.
I will email both of y'all and I'm targeting to start on what is known as Tuesday. And if
Okay.
you have any questions, Bhargav, Vicky, feel free to call me.
Okay.
Sure.
And just let me know so that
Okay.
yeah. So
Sure.
any other questions from your side?
Oh,
No, I think I'm done with it.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Me too.
yeah. So Vicky, let me ask you, meaning, what does your schedule
Yeah.
look like? How much time do you have in a day to work?
Well, as of now, you don't need to. I'm free, so I can work
Okay,
most of the time.
okay,
Yeah. one thing. And the second thing is, the only thing I wanted to know is what time you are going to come. So if you said that 1 hour is going to be the class same time, that's good to me. I can rearrange other stuff
Okay, okay, and
accordingly.
okay. So, but eventually, what will happen is that when I end the first 6:30 to 7:30 batch, what is
Mm-hmm.
known as so think of it this way: it is going to be Monday to Thursday,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
your 8:30 to 9:30,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
Saturday it is going to be, you can think of 2 hours, 10 to
Okay.
12.
Mm.
Okay, and then
Okay.
once my
In the morning.
yeah, in the morning, so that we can
Okay.
get finished with it early.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
once my first batch gets over, which will be by the end of November, what we will
Okay.
do is that we will move into a more aggressive mode,
Okay.
which basically
Mm-hmm.
means is that you will be doing more time. And the other thing is that the assignments that I will be giving you all, I will
Okay.
expect you both to complete it and come the next day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, because what will happen is that if you do the assignment immediately, okay, if you do the
Mm-hmm.
assignment immediately, what is going to happen is
Mm-hmm.
that the subsequent class will not feel more difficult.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And primarily, as I was telling you, 80% of this job is SQL. So
Okay.
the moment you become an expert in SQL, everything else is just,
Mm-hmm.
very, very easy.
Okay.
So what we will do is that we will have a class on on Tuesday, and after that, what I will do is that in that Tuesday class, I will also talk about how to install the Oracle virtual machine on your laptops.
Okay.
Ideally,
Okay.
you should
Mm-hmm.
have 6 GB of RAM on your machine.
Okay.
I will email you all the download details, and we can actually then you can start practicing, and that ways, as you will practice, I will know, as you will do the assignments and as I will check them, I will know how you are making progress and all that.
Okay.
uh, so
Okay.
so that is what the strategy and the goal is. Okay, so then I'll
That's
Okay.
good.
yeah, so then
Sorry to extend the conversation.
yeah, no problem.
So I have one more thing which I need to clarify is now I understand that this is a free training, but you're gonna job place and then get the other stuff, yeah, which I
That
understand that. But what if after I get, you are trying to market my things, right?
yeah,
What if I apply for a job on my own and if I get placed, I don't know, that won't happen. But
yeah,
just I'm asking, what happens if I
yeah,
place it
I
differently?
understand, and I would encourage you to do it. If
Yeah.
you get it, you're free to go. There is no, in my particular case, there is
Okay.
no what is known as, there is no constraint on you leaving and going. Okay, so
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
it's basically what I'm trying to say is that if you can find something good for yourself,
Mm-mm.
make it happen. There is no need.
Mm. No, not right now. I'm talking about after the class gets over
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then the job
yeah.
at the time of job.
No
Yeah.
problem. There is no restriction, not for you, not for Bhargav, not for any of my students. I
Mm-mm.
just tell them upfront. With
Oh.
me, there is basically no contract. If you can find,
Hmm.
if you go, if you want, if see, I don't want to hold anyone.
That's really good of you, actually. I think
Yeah,
so.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
really good. I don't think quite a few people will be that much very challenging to do that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yes.
The way I
Yeah.
think of it is that I don't think that I should stop anybody else's progress in my interest.
Mm-mm.
If
Okay.
you are, a lot of people have a lot of problems,
I'm
especially.
impressed. To be honest, I'm impressed.
Yeah, yeah. Meaning
Yeah.
a lot of my MS students whom I train, they have a lot of loans and all that, right? And
Yes.
to tell them that you have to stay with me when you're getting a job somewhere else because I want to make money, meaning it's almost ridiculous because everybody has to survive, right? Meaning I have also come through the same
Oh,
thing,
oh,
so I know how it feels.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
fair.
good. So, again, after manual testing, will you also teach us automated testing if you really wanted to?
No, I don't do automated testing.
No.
Because see, I'll
Okay.
explain why I don't do it. So the way I see it is that
Mm-hmm.
ETL testing offers the ability
Mm-hmm.
for an ETL
Mm-hmm.
tester to what is known
Mm-hmm.
as go up a value chain if he wants to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that today, if you are an ETL tester, because I
Mm-hmm.
continuously take trainings, that ETL tester, if they stay with me, when I take the ETL Informatica training, they can attend that training and later become an Informatica developer.
Okay.
So after a couple of years as an Informatica developer, they can attend my data modeling, data architecture training and become a data modeler. So essentially what I'm offering people is not only an ability to, to get a job immediately, but also to, create a career path if they want to, what is known as to create a career path, so that if later on they want to what is known as move forward and grow up the value chain, they can do that. So I also initially started doing at a ETL testing, ETL development, then I became a data modeler, data architect, so I just grew that way. And
Okay.
ETL testing offers that ability. And the second thing is basically, if you decide to join my company and work with me on placements and all that, you will get support directly from me, which is a very, very critical component of being able
I
to
know.
survive on the job.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
know of a lot of people who have come to me from other companies who could not survive the job because their support was not good.
Yeah. Okay.
So for that reason, if you do decide, the support will be, the support is my unique selling point, at the end of the day. So that is what you will get, which will be superior to other people.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll see you guys.
Yeah, that's it. I'm very much impressed. That's it. We'll start from next Tuesday then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, take care, both of you. I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you.
I'll
Thanks for
send
it.
you a
Bye.
link.
Bye.
I will send you a link for the recording of the training. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, that's fine. Bye.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.